These thoughts have been in my head. Things I never did. I took some L's, but I'm still here.
I got these thoughts up in my head. I toss and turn about some things I never said. I got regrets about some things I never did. I took some risks and took some L's, but I'm still here. And I know.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Overthinking Thoughts Pod. I'm your host, Ed, and as always, journey with me as we pursue greatness in a world full of chaos. Here we are, back again, another Thursday. I hope your week was somewhat productive. Well, I hope you feel real. I hope that you are rested. It's fall season, so I know a lot of you are probably enjoying the Starbucks moment, getting ready for Halloween and all that good stuff. I'm just more excited about being able to wear hoodies and shorts because that's my type of weather. But whatever makes you happy, I hope that you have found joy throughout your week. So as we continue on this wonderful journey in chaos, I'm tired. Let's just put it that way. But I feel like I'm always saying that. So I'm trying to just be thoughtful of things that are going on. My son made student council, so I'm really happy about that. My youngest is a big fan of Bluey and Mickey Mouse, so he always to him, he's always talking to them. I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds cute, so he's good there. But the family overall is making strides and just taking it day by day. So overall, as we look at those small wins and we just try to say well, what is it out there that's making us happy? I have to say those are the moments that really make me smile as a dad, and I have to always remember just to step back and see that, because there's so much going on between making sure that they got everything they need, and bills and food and gas, and our my wife and I, our jobs, and are we providing the way we need to provide? Are we giving ourselves enough time? Are we giving each other time? There's all these different things going on, yet we are still taking it one step at a time. So that's kind of how the whole pursuing greatness in a world full of chaos came up. And greatness is not perfection. Let me just go ahead and tell you that, because nothing we do is perfect. You are not perfect. You never will be perfect. There's nothing on this earth that will say that you are a perfect human being, but you can be great at what you do, flaws and all. Even imperfect diamonds still shine bright, and a lot of times we don't even know that diamonds are flawed. We just see the beauty in it. So we're all flawed individuals, yet we're still beautiful in everything that we do. I'm not really sure where that came from. I just thought off the top of my head, but I figured that maybe you need it. So use that as inspiration for the week, all right? So here we are, another Thursday. Talked about a few small wins. And today what I want to talk about more so is just taking time to just be in the moment of what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're pursuing. I talk a lot about making sure you stay on the journey and trusting in yourself and going after it, and there takes a level of determination to get to the goal of which you're trying to reach. There is a specific focus that you have to have as you're pursuing what it is that you have written down and chased after. In the same breath, though, what you don't want to do is look so far ahead and miss out on the things that are right in front of you that could improve who you are as a person. It can improve mental health. It can improve physical health. It can improve, job performance. So we have to make sure that we keep the goal in mind, but we also have to be focused on where we are in the moment. A kind of a rough example of that was in a previous job that I had. My biggest thing was I had to make decisions for what was happening in the moment while also thinking about what could potentially happen in the future. And that's hard to do. It's hard to do because you get so caught up in the moments, and you're trying to figure out am I doing this the right way? Am I going about things how I should? And yeah, it can be a little worrisome, but always remember that at the end of the day, you have to be real with yourself, because you have to know where you are on your journey. You have to be able to analyze if you're going about it the right way or if you're self-sabotaging, self-doubt, fear, comparison, those things that take you away from what it is that you're destined to be. So you have to be self-aware of those things. But then also really just taking the time to reflect and analyze. And there's a fine line between analyzing and overthinking. What I do is overthinking, thus the Overthinking Thoughts Pod, which is what I'm working on. There's certain things that I can sit back and analyze and go, okay, what is the most important thing right here, right now? And how do I go about handling that? It's a daily process. It is something that you have to continue to practice every single day. But also, you just have to make sure that you are fully aware and fully capable of what you're doing, of course, and take it one day at a time. You can't rush to your destination. You can't rush the end result. That's why the journey is so important, because a lot of the growth and a lot of the development and the foundation of what you're going to be sitting on forms from the journey. What you don't want to do, I was thinking about this last night, just in regard to just the way that the world's been moving and, overhearing things that people talk about and a lot of worries and doubts and fears and just this uncertainty. So everybody's trying to just make it. They're like, oh, okay, I got to get to this point. If I could just get here, I'll be fine. And it doesn't always work that way. But I'm a firm believer that the journey has vital tools and vital information that's going to help produce not only success, but individual joy, team joy, family joy, all those things that you're looking for that you think are just wrapped up in the destination. And so my thought is this, don't focus solely on the destination that you miss the best moments of the journey. I'll say it again. Don't focus solely on the destination that you miss the best moments of the journey. I'll use my son's team as an example. Now, as you know, we won a championship, which I love to talk about. But there was a moment where, we showed up to the tournament, and the game before us was the game that decided who was going to the championship. And there was a specific team that we knew we wanted to face, just because there's a little rivalry, whatever, like friendly competition. And so when we saw it, we were like, okay, cool. In our mind, we were already like, well, not right away, but there was this feeling of, okay, when we get to the championship game, we know who we're facing. But the reality is that there was a team that was standing there right in front of us that was thinking, we need to beat this team right here, right now. And, we did a really good job of controlling momentum. And then there was this moment where I think we started looking ahead, because we had a comfortable lead, and then we got really comfortable in the sense of the effort kind of dropped, and the heart and the passion, like, it was kind of there, but it wasn't the 100% effort that we needed. So naturally, what happens in those moments is that team has this belief that they could come back and win. And now all of a sudden, what was a 10, 15 point game is now a 3-point game with 10 seconds left. Luckily, we were able to compose ourselves and remember who we are and what helps us to win basketball games. And we were able to pull out the victory. But it was a really good lesson in remembering, you can't look past what's in front of you and just expect whatever that is in front of you to disappear. Now you still gotta handle that. And being in the moment will help you to see things clearer, and it will also give you a better sense of direction of how to navigate through what it is that you're facing, then also what tools you need to either conquer what it is that's in front of you or utilize what's in front of you, whatever the case may be, because it could be different for every person. Remember, everybody's journey is different. You have your path you have to walk. I have my path I have to walk. We can compare notes, but at the end of the day, how you go about it is how it's destined for you to go, the same way it's destined for me to go. And we gotta be and grateful for the results if we do it the right way. So the reason why I say we got to be in the moment is because there's just different things that you don't want to miss out on. And through life, I think we're so fixated on, okay, we got to have the certain income, we got to have the certain car, the certain house, we got to have the certain wife, the X amount of kids, whatever. Because there's this picture of perfection that the world has painted that if you don't have these things, then you just aren't there, right? Well, it's not always true, because there's a lot of people that rush to the destination and then they look back and they're unhappy because there's things that they have missed. And what I don't want for you is for you to get to this level of success where you're like, yeah, this is great, like I reached it, and then you turn back and you regret how quickly you got there because there were just moments where you didn't take the time to see what was right in front of you. I can remember, being in jobs and being on the court and just trying to think about what's next rather than like focusing on what's the now. And that, like, for me, that's a hard thing to do because, like with my kids and just my family, like I'm always constantly thinking about, okay, what's next? What do we need to do? And then there's times where I have to step back and just be in the moment. Like, one of the best times being in the moment was watching my son win a championship and then just being there and talking to him and listening to his excitement. Or being in the moment of coming back from a game and watching, my youngest son take his very first steps. Like, being in those moments. Those are things that I remember. Those are things that I'll cherish for life. And they'll help motivate me in those times of when it's difficult or if I'm facing things. Like, I can't stress to you enough that, like, we just overlook so much stuff because we're trying to get to where the next person is. Sometimes you gotta take time because then you'll miss out on the beauty of things. I tell you, like, one of the best moments I had of just being in the moment was the day I got married. And I just remember telling myself, like, I woke up, I was excited, and I just was kind of like trying to go through my head, like, okay, so here's how this is going to go, and then when we show up, this is how this is going to work, and then this is how this is going to happen, and all these things are going to have, like, all this different stuff, right? And I just told myself, well, actually, I had to calm down because I was getting antsy. I had to drive to where we were staying. We parked our car overnight, and I was there, and my brother came through and got me. And before he was picking me up, I was just kind of in the hotel room, just like, okay, like I was treating it like it was a basketball game. Like, okay, like I got to get there, and then I got to make sure I say the right things, and then I got to be dressed, and I got to make sure everybody. And I was just like, yo, like, chill, like this is an exciting time. So once we got to the venue, which was beautiful, by the way, my in-laws, they just made this place look spectacular. But the place in itself is spectacular, which shout out to my boy Delaney and his wife for, really, like, his wife was the one that had the greatest connection, and Delaney was just like, bro, you should look at this. When we walked in and we saw it, I just remember being like, this is where we need to be. And and it's a great cause too. Like, it was a great place. Their values and beliefs were wonderful, and it just allowed us to enjoy the night. And I just remember, like, getting there and just say, you know what, I'm not gonna worry about if this happens or if that happens. Like, we've done everything we needed to do for it to be in place for this to happen. I wanna enjoy this now. And so just sitting back and just clowning with my boys, before we have to go out there, and just, reminiscing about, like, college days and joking back and forth. And it was family, because these are people that I have high respect for, and they're showing their support by being there for me. Like, that's real, That stuff you overlook because it just looks like it's taken for granted, but, like, the fact that they were there. And then, just going through the whole process, like, obviously a lot of it was a blur just because of how weddings work and how fast stuff goes and how people, you're taking pictures, you're talking to everybody in the room, you just on a constant move. But seeing my mom be happy, and my brothers and sisters was there, and my dad was there, and then family and friends, and then watching her walk down. Like, I vividly remember that. I started crying, and then my pastor started crying, and my son started crying, and then the bridesmaids, all of them were crying. They were crying before she even showed up. But like just remembering all of that. And then just like certain moments of the ceremony, we did a dedication where me and my son shared a special moment. Everybody cried at that, which was just like, it was a beautiful thing. And then I remember the I do's. There was a funny, should I share it? I'm gonna share it. There was this funny part in the wedding where I'm having to repeat after, the pastor. It's like, I take you to be my wife, half and whole, sickness and health, to be fruitful and enjoy life. And I don't know what made me do this, mainly because I'm a goof, but when he said to laugh with, and then, I'm like, to laugh with, and then he goes to play with, and I was just like, Everybody laughed. I don't know why y'all all laughed at me. I was really just trying to make sure I didn't. No, it was hilarious. No, it was funny. But it was a moment where like we all we could all share in that moment and be like, oh man, that dude, he's silly. And my wife knew what she was getting into when she met me. I try to be a silly dude, like it's by nature. But at the end of the day, like it's a moment that I'll cherish because we shared in that moment together. And then one of the best parts about my wedding, first of all, it was a great time. And I'm not saying that because it was me, but it really was a good time. Like, people tell us how much fun they had, and that's the important part. Like, I wasn't worried about, okay, well, the DJ got to do this at this time, and then we got to cut the cake at this time, and everybody got to do this and do that. It was more so just like, let me see how this goes. I reunited with a lot of people. I saw happy faces. I saw people that were genuinely happy for us. And I look over the list and I can't think of anyone who I would go back and go, no, I shouldn't have invited them. Everybody who was there for a reason. And it just made me even more grateful. But the best part of the night that I can vividly remember was, like, stuff's going on and, we having a good time. There's champagne and people are dancing and stuff. And I remember, like, seeing, we had, like, our table at the front. And I was like, oh, there's a bottle of champagne. Like, mind you, like, I've been talking to so many people that I just didn't even have time to really, like, take time for myself. So as I'm going up there, I take the time to just kind of stop and I look out, and I wish like there was a way where I could go back and make a picture of what it looked like, because it would be an amazing photo, right? I'm watching every person who we invited enjoying themselves. I don't see one person feeling like they were down or just upset or anything like that. Like, I got a couple of my coaching boys, like they having fun on the side with their days. And then I'm watching my people from church, and they got this whole, like, it wasn't really a Soul Train line, but it was like a little, like, group dance circle thing. And people, they were cutting rugs. I'm watching people from my job, they were having a good time. People from my childhood, people from my wife's side of the family, everybody was in the moment. But at that point in time, I just remember feeling like, wow, like this is cool. And then, like, immediately after that, somebody was like, oh, hey, we got to get you to come over here. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I just remember replaying the moment and just being there and just being like, I'm so glad I took the time to just be. Sometimes you just gotta take time for yourself, man, and step back and just be grateful for where you are. Another part about being in the moment is then you can look back at things, and this is something I've been struggling with lately, is just like, all I can think about is all the mistakes that I've ever made. That's just my mind. That's how it works. I've been doing that since Lord knows how long. It's a trait that I'm trying to fix. I'm working on it, okay? So what helps me to kind of break out of that is I go and look at, okay, well, what's real about this? What have you learned from it? Have you learned from it? Have you moved forward from it? Do you know you're forgiven? Have you forgiven yourself? Which is something I'm working on. Probably will be a future episode, so stay tuned for that. But just one of those things where it's like, I can analyze and go, okay, like, we've dealt with this. So you don't have to keep coming back to it, especially with the God that you believe in. If you confess it and you're real about it, he done forgot it. It's as if you're like, oh God, I kept doing this and this and this, and he's just like, what are you talking about? Like, that's how I imagine it. You know, I don't know exactly how it would go down, but that would be cool. But it's just like, you know, allowing myself to be in the moment also allows me to see just how far I've come, how much I've matured, you know, how much I have grown. Like, I'm grateful for that. Like, I'm thankful for my parents. Like, they instilled a lot of things in me. You know, my mom taught me about humility and just who God is and how he works. And then watching how she maneuvered and just made sure that things were good for me and my sister, it's remarkable. So, you know, I love my mom, so I'm always gonna give her her flowers when I can. I'm a mama's boy, and I ain't afraid to admit it. It is what it is, but she's great, and I'm glad that she's my mom. So there's that. But then, like, you know, then I look at stuff that my dad taught me, like just respect, and then, you know, if you know my dad and you know how he coached, like that was instilled in me, and that's something that I was so grateful to have done, just because he showed me those, and like being in a moment of learning from him and sharing basketball moments with him, and you know, just now reminiscing and laughing about stuff, because he'll tell me about things like back when I was young, like okay, you want to talk about the ultimate being in the moment? I didn't even realize that I was, but this was probably one of the coolest things and one of the best memories of my childhood that I can remember. I had a little Tykes basketball hoop, and I got it for Christmas. And for whatever reason, I'm big. I was like big in the NBA and stuff like that. I was talking all types of smack to my dad, and then I said, let's play one-on-one on the hoop, right? Now, full disclaimer, I know that he let me beat him now, but in the moment, I was like, I'm on cloud nine. Excuse me. And we recorded. Oh. All right, we're good. I'm not gonna edit that out. We keep everything real. But I just remember in the moment, we recorded it. I gotta find that tape because it was a great time. But we're going back and forth, and then I ended up winning the game by 1 point. And then at the end, we shot these like fake like NBA commercials. So my dad did one for like, I think it's like Sprite, and then I did one for like root beer. I like root beer. I don't know. I just remember how great that moment was, because whether my dad knows this or not, just that moment has instilled this sense of like, man, this was such a great memory. It allowed me to share that moment with my son. So like, my son will always try to play basketball against me. And watching him grow, like, I know that there's a point where he's going to overtake me. I already know that. I kind of want it to happen, because it'll be really nice if he, you know, goes to the league, of course. That's his dream. You know, I didn't instill that on him. That's something he's always wanted. But just the fact that, like, I was able to have that memory and then be able to share that with my boys, you know, like, it's a remarkable moment. Now, if I rush past that, do I get a chance to really analyze and understand, like, oh my God, like, I remember being in this moment, and now I get to share this with my son. Would I be able to have that? Like, a lot of the things that I'm doing now, like being in a podcast and you know, having a successful marriage and learning new things and trying to build myself, like, that doesn't happen if I'm trying to rush everything. You know, I remember watching Jackson State just whoop up on FAMU, and there was this clip that went viral where Deion was said his name like we on first name basis, but Deion Sanders, I think we all know who that is. He comes in, he's like on 10. He's like, we're getting ready to play a game, and y'all, we on the phone. Like, what's so important where you're on the phone? You need to lock in. And he told him, you have to be in this moment. There is nothing more important than where you are right now. And I was thinking to myself, like, how first of all, you're in Miami. You're playing in the Dolphin Stadium. You're going to be on national television. It's your first game of the season. Emotions are high. And I can totally get it. It's like routine that we're just like, all right, we got to play this game, but let me check whatever. And honestly, like, that ain't important because it's going to be there when you get back. Not everybody gets to play on that level. Not everybody is able to experience the magnitude of thousands and thousands of people cheering for you because you're doing something you love to do. Like, I could only imagine how great that would be, right? On a sports level. Now, I've had it personally, obviously, with the story I just told, but just to be able to have that moment is so grateful. And so what I challenge all of us to do, including myself, remember, anything that I'm challenging y'all to do, I have to do myself. We're not going to be hypocritical over here. We're going to do this thing together. Inside joke to people that know. And how are we going to do it? Together. Yeah. If you know, you know. If you don't, it was awkward, but whatever. It's my podcast. You love me anyway, okay? Because I love y'all. But anyway, like I was saying, what I want us to do is really take time to be in the moment of what it is that we're doing. So obviously we have the end goal in sight of what we want to pursue. And we know how far we want to go. And I keep repeating this to you because what I want to stress to you is, like, I don't want you to lose sight of what it is that you're fighting for, because you can't quit on that. Because if you quit on it, then not only are you quitting on the dream, but you're quitting on every other person that is watching you and seeing how you navigate through this. And you may never know who those people are. But you are an inspiration to people you know and people you don't know. How you conduct yourself in this pivotal moment of your life is the make or break for anybody who's watching. And that may sound like a lot of pressure, but when you think about who you are and how you've been made and who gave you the inspiration and the passion and the heart for it and the mind for it, and it was put on your heart and your mind, and you're the only person that can get it done, it's not pressure, it's purpose. So we gotta live in that, right? So I want us to take our time to, obviously we gotta work toward the end goal, but on that journey, there's going to be certain moments where you're like, oh, I need to just be in this moment and enjoy this moment right here, right now. Embrace that, because it's going to build you. It's going to help you. It's going to enhance who you are as a person, which then allows you to then go to others and plant the seed of inspiration to other people so that they can also go after what they're going for, but they can also learn how to be in the moment. And could you imagine what the world would be like if people actually worked together? It could be done, but there's too much separation and greed. All those things fall into the mix, and so we gotta learn how to avoid all those things, but in the same breath still pursue our personal greatness, and also take the time to just enjoy the process. Like, on your journey, you are exactly where you need to be right now. Whether that is working through something, whether that is accomplishing something, or whether it's just getting started. Like, you're at a different level for a different reason. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing, okay? Focus on you. But in the same breath, be in the moment. Because the last thing you want to do is get to the destination and turn around and realize everything that you really needed, you left behind. I don't want that to happen for you. So I'm challenging you to be in the moment. I think that's all I got. We'll end there. Be in the moment. Enjoy your journey. I know there's going to be moments of time where it gets tough, but just always remember who you are and whose you are. And remember that you have a purpose that's great. And we're waiting on you to pursue that purpose. Okay? As always, if you need anything, you can hit me up. Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Gmail, TikTok, Overthinking Thoughts Pod. Like and subscribe, share videos, reach out if you need anything. I'm here to try to inspire you as best as I can. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I want us all to be great in what we do and what we pursue. Remember, as always, we're pursuing greatness in a world full of chaos. I know things may be crazy around you, but be in the moment and see just how far you've come. You're growing, You're doing well. You're amazing, okay? You're amazing at what you do. Nobody can do it like you. You're an amazing person. Stay individual, stay true to yourself, stay the course, trust the process, be in that moment. All right? As always, I believe in you. You go believe in yourself. I'm Ed, Overthinking Thoughts Pod. We out.